So, Memamwajo, greetings to everyone. This is Obinfo Badale Kamban. I am here in Equipia Mampong in the eastern region of Ghana, representing DOOR, Decade of Our Repatriation, as well as Repatriate to Ghana. We can go around just introduction for everybody who has pinned on the spotlight. So maybe Ross Oswald, if you can introduce yourself next. I know he said he has.
Nana Cambone, I'm sorry. Are we recording this meeting? I'm sorry, Brother
Yes, we are.
Rothwell.
Yes, we are.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. Okay.
Greetings. My name is Ras Azwadin Krabia. I am presently in Kaswa, Accra, Ghana. I'm representing the Rastafari Council of Ghana and Jamaica Affairs.
Fantastic. All right, in no particular order, Brother Yazid.
My name is Yazid Muhammad. I'm based in the Akosombo area, specifically the Atampuku, adjacent the Adomi Bridge. My business is called Repatriation Consultation or Consultant, but I'm better known as for Born Again Africa Ghana Soul Food.
All right, Blacktastic. Brother Kivoy.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kevoy Burton. I am currently in Abokobi, that's Accra, Ghana, and I represent the Ghana Caribbean Association.
All right, Blacktastic. And Nataki.
Greetings, everyone. I am Nataki Kamband. I am based in Accra, Ghana. Excuse me. Originally from the United States. I am the co-founder of the DOOR initiative, which is the Decade of Our Repatriation. And my capacity with DOOR is handling the side of DOOR for people who need help with all of the logistics kinds of things once you touch base on the ground. And yes.
All right. And for now, last but certainly not least, Nana Kosia.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your patience. I'm Nana Akosia. I'm currently the president of the African American Association of Ghana, based in Accra, Ghana. And also, my name is Nana Akosia Sewa Sioyo the First. I'm also a traditional cultural Queen Mother leader, aka Queen Mother, installed in Ejisu Abanasi, which is based in the Ashanti region. Thank you.
All right. And to that point, also I am known as Nana Kwame Pebi Datel Dikain, a traditional ruler here in Equipia Mampong, ruler of the rear guard, which is both a spiritual and military position. I know some of us are also installed here, so I think we can go ahead and get started at this point. As everyone is aware, this is an emergency meeting that's being called. Some of you attended the town hall meeting. There are over 300 people online for that town hall meeting a couple of weeks ago, and good 150 to 200 people on the ground in person at the Institute of African Studies where I work. And we've been having a lot of discussions around next steps forward. Let's do this. Do any of my co-hosts want to say anything before we go straight into some of the guidance that we discussed ahead of time? I don't want to jump the gun. Maybe if somebody has something that they want to introduce before that. Otherwise, I'll go straight into it. Okay. If not, I will go ahead and share my screen. Go ahead, Nataki. Did you want to say something?
No, I didn't know if Ross Oswald was gonna.
Yeah. Ross Oswald said he had an issue with his phone, so he was asking his co-hosts, which would be us, to kind of lead things. All right. So these were the constituent updates that we had. And the first thing was to proceed to vetting, encouraging participation. And essentially that was on the basis of a conversation I know that both I had with the Deputy Director of Diaspora Affairs.
Excuse me, Obinfo. I do think it would be helpful. We don't know if everybody on the call is aware of just foundational. I don't think we have to go into all of the nuance over the last 15 days or so. But before we get to the document, it may be helpful just to acknowledge that new citizenship policies were announced on January 30th. We did have a town hall. Many of the organizational leaders who are on this call and others convened a meeting. And at the town hall meeting on February 1st, there was a town hall meeting and a press conference that took place that discussed some of these issues. There are a number of the policies that were introduced on January 30th that people found problematic in a number of ways. And, and for that reason, leaders of the organizations that you heard from today and others came together to request a sit-down meeting with public policy officials and the policymakers and the Ministry of Interior and others so that we could talk about exactly how these policies are being formed, how they're being formed with persons who are representing large constituencies, how they're being formed with us and not just for us, so that we're not hearing about these things after the fact. But at the town meeting, we asked people to refrain from engaging in the current policy. And now, and so it's been 11 days, there was an update. So they suspended the policy on February 2nd. And a lot of people have just been in limbo from February 2nd to February 11th, where the government said we've unsuspended the citizenship registration. They made a change to the DNA requirement, but there's still some other requirements that some of us find problematic. And since the last public word that we all said was refrain from engaging in the policies, many of you have been waiting to hear, okay, am I still refraining? Do I engage now that they restarted on the 11th? What do I do? So for those who didn't have the background or the context about how we got here today, that's the background. And for those who are sharing this information with other people, that's the highlighted or the bulleted version of everything that's gone on. There's some that is to be revealed later, and we're going to keep that. And to the point, I don't know if you were going to go in detail, Nana Kwame. On the recording, I don't know that we want to talk specifically about what the Deputy Minister of Interior said, since they're not making that public right now. So I just want to note that. Okay.
So the core of what we're saying is not coming from ourselves. So I see some in the chat are appreciative of the recap. Others are saying, can we get to the point? So we'll go straight in. I do want to give that background, even though that was not given in writing, because that's the basis of the recommendation that we're making. So whether or not they've gone on record in writing, I do want to share where this information is actually coming from and let the chips fall where they may. So I did have a conversation, and I know Nana Kosia did as well, with the Deputy Director of Diaspora Affairs, in which, he let me know that and I see Dr. Maulana is just coming in, that the guidelines that we are to follow now in terms of vetting are 1 cumulative time in Ghana, 1 year or more. So this is different from what was published initially, and then, they paused and then they came back. And then they have an online portal that has other things, including Ghanaian language and so forth and so on as requirements. And, what I mentioned to the Deputy Director, he called me And I was like, most of my constituents coming through Repatriate to Ghana, coming through DOOR, would not be able to, meet the requirements. He said the only thing initially that had changed was they were removing DNA. And I was like, well, even still, when I looked online, it's saying that you also have to have a work permit as a requirement. And he said that what they're doing is different from what is on the Ministry of Interior's website. He said that what they've done is that they've written directly to the president for an executive order. And an executive order is what we have been getting citizenship on since 2016, the initial one under the same president, President Muhammad, during his initial term. So again, he said that, regardless of what you saw on the initial requirements, and even different from what you're seeing on the Ministry of Interior's e-portal, that the actual things that they're basing the vetting on are the following. And one is cumulative time in Ghana, 1 year or more. Interviewees are being assessed on whether they have lived in Ghana cumulatively for 1 year or more. This does not have to be continuous in one uninterrupted block. Multiple states may be counted toward the total. And the example he gave, that should be clear, but if you've been in Ghana 3 years in 2022, 3 months in 2022, 2 months in 2024, so forth, whatever it is, if it all amounts to 1 year, then they would consider you. And what that let me know is that the vetting process, these interviews that are happening at the Du Bois Center as we speak, are more of an art than a science. It's not directly the initial things that we saw. You must have DNA, you must have this, you must have that, so forth, that they're willing to take into account, maybe a little wiggle room. If it was 11 months, but then you have the number 2 or number 3, then they will consider it. So that's number one in terms of what the actual vetting is based on. And again, that's different from what was published and distributed initially. Number 2, strong ties to Ghana. And that was something else that initially at the town hall meeting we objected to, because strong ties could be very arbitrary, and especially because they were saying that the 25,000 Ghana cedis was non-refundable. So what if you come there, you've paid the 25,000 cedis, and then they say your ties aren't strong enough? How is that even defined? And he gave examples again. The takeaway that I got from the conversation is that it's more of an art than a science, in that they would consider things such as, and let me say included but not limited to, starting a business or contributing to local economic activity, purchasing land and or building a house, speaking a Ghanaian language, establishing an NGO or community initiative, or other demonstrable contributions or impact on society. And, I said, well, I have people who have already bought land and, they sold all their worldly possessions in the US or wherever they came from. Would they be considered if they haven't come up to a year cumulatively? And what he said is, saying that it would be difficult, that the 1 year is the, the minimum that they want to consider. However, he said that if people have overwhelmingly overwhelming evidence on number 2 in terms of strong ties, that they may consider some degree of wiggle room. But what he said is that it would be difficult for them to consider people who haven't been living in Ghana for 1 year or more. But it may be worth people because of, some of the other things that they may have going in their favor. If it's 11 months, if it's 10 months, if it's maybe slightly under that, but you have some of these other things going in your favor, it may be worth you going down there for vetting. And I brought up again this question of 25,000 Ghana cedis. And what he said is that when you go there for the interview, you can do the interview without having yet paid. So it doesn't mean that you've already paid 25,000. They do the interview and then they say, well, you can't get it back because you don't qualify. That you can go down, do the interview, and then after you've qualified, then you can proceed to payment. Nana Kosia, you may want to weigh in, because I know you mentioned you had some people who had paid ahead of time, but that was number 2. And then number 3 was background checks, completed background checks from Ghana and home country. And I can say, speaking for Repatriate to Ghana, in the 524 who got citizenship, and I'm saying this specifically for those who are based here in Ghana now, that they were considering online background checks. And there are some online companies that do that. I may be able to even pull up some that were able to be processed last time for the 524. Again, that was under the MPP government. but it's easy to get the background check in Ghana. That's coming through Nima Police Station. Typically that's where they'll do it. But then some people may be like, well, I'm here in Ghana. How can I get a background check from my home country? I can say definitely last time they did online, I can get specific clarity, again, from Diaspora Affairs in terms of are there specific ones that they recommend, over others. But again, that's the third thing. So again, this is vastly different from the list that was published at the time of our town hall, at the time of us saying, let's suspend our participation in the process. And it's a lot more workable. I asked also about the fee of 25,000 CDs. And what he said is that the 25,000 CDs is now being considered an administrative fee. And there's no additional 1,500 CD administrative fee that's been collapsed into the 25,000 CDs. I know some of us in some of our meetings said that our constituents would still have an issue with the 25,000 CDs. And, as far as that goes, I'll let other people speak to that. And then, you yourselves can also advise yourselves on what that is. What we're doing in the meantime is that we have a meeting scheduled for when the Director of Diaspora Affairs comes in. In the letter that we received from them, they said that he is out of town until the 18th. And then we'll be able to engage the government on that level in terms of any type of waiver that may occur. But as of now, there has been no waiver. There has been no change apart from what I've already said in terms of the 1,500 being collapsed into the 25,000. So at this point, I will pause this presentation as at the core of what we wanted to share. And if anybody else, and I'll bring Dr. Maulana, representing Ministry of the Future, on the stage as well. But if anyone has anything else in terms of co-hosts that they want to share, or if anybody in the chat has any questions, then you can go ahead with that. So I'll pause here.
Dr. Muhammad did say he had something to say.
Okay, I'm trying to find it. All right, and Dr. Maulana, I've added you to the stage, and I've also added you as a co-host. So I say,
yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Campbell. And I'm here. Please forgive me, I'm not on video, but I'm here on audio. So I'm on standby.
All right. All right, so any other of the organizational leaders, Ghana Caribbean, AAA, Real Repatriation, DOOR, who have anything that they would like to add that maybe I did not add initially? And also, if there are any other leaders in the audience who I may not recognize your login or name as it's appearing here, I can also bring you on the spotlight.
Just take the comments in the chat.
Okay, and I'm seeing in the chat.
I can read some of the questions. Okay. I think you were about to do that.
Go ahead. If you can do that, that'd be great, so I don't have to scroll through as well.
But definitely want some of the other leaders to speak. But I'm seeing some of the questions here. And one question is, how do we show duration of presence in Ghana? So many of these questions should be directed directly to the government. But I would suspect that they are going to look at your passport stamps. I don't think you have to show airline tickets or anything. I'm sure they're going to want to use source government documents to do that verification. But again, this is all speculating. Question, I'm based in Ghana and just want to confirm, how recent must the background check be? Do you know if it's something that can be issued in the same day? So it really depends. One of the things I recommended to someone earlier is to try and get with an HR firm. Companies that do background checks for human resources often have the ability to do background checks or have relationships with companies that do background checks quickly. Not just, especially if they're doing background checks for positions that deal with anything that has financial sensitivity or government clearance. So that may be a pathway to do that, or a recruiting firm.
And what I can say to that as well, based on the experience from those who, like I mentioned, for the 524, most of the people who came through Repatriate to Ghana did online background checks. And there are some reputable companies that you can find online. And that typically, is within 24 hours. You do it, they'll process it and then it's sent to your email directly. We did that as well going to Burkina Faso, that they required, background checks. So that's there. And then also for the Ghana one, like I said, Nima Police Station, they do it, and then they have like the regular service. They also have expedited service, which is a bit more. I can check on what the exact fee is, but the background checks can be done, like I said, both for your home country with an online one, and then for those based in Ghana at the Nima Police Station. All right. And I'm seeing other questions.
Can the FBI
Can I come
background check
in?
use stuff?
So,
Yes, please.
so yes, you can, Nana Kosia.
Okay, so good evening, everyone, again. For me, this is just a reminder that all of the organizational leaders that you have on this call are working as complete volunteers who have full-time lives. Our purpose here tonight is to encourage those that want to move forward in the process to go ahead and move the process. And we are sharing the requisite knowledge that we've accumulated over our different conversations, given the fact that there's some confusion in the process. So I just want to stress to stress that we will be having a series of these Zooms, because I know there are a lot of constituents that were not alerted about this Zoom. And I know that because I was not able to send out an email for this particular Zoom because I've been on the road working. So I just want to again say thank you to all of the organizational leaders that dropped what they were doing in their lives, just so that the people that are now coming through can also have access to citizenship. Most of the people talking on this as an organizational leader, we are people that have our citizenship a long time ago, but we deem it necessary to keep these pathways open for those that follow us, because as Kwame Nkrumah said, until we are all free, there's the freedom, the liberation, the citizenship is meaningless. So I just want to say that, and please continue. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anything from those other organizational leaders? I see a question in the chat from Orville, and I'll answer that as diplomatically as possible. He said it would be nice to get in writing, which is what we requested, that what is on the Ministry of Interior website does not apply to the executive order of the president regarding diaspora citizenship process. That was actually the first thing that I asked for, was to get this in writing. I said, even if it's a text message, then we could get a screenshot. And he said that, because the directive is coming from the Ministry of the Interior, that he, representing diaspora affairs, would not be able to put it in writing. So I'll pause on that point. So I'll pause on that point, but we did request it in writing, but we did not get it in writing because you would not be making a payment before doing the vetting according to Diaspora Affairs and those who have experience. I know some organizational leaders have people who have already been through the process, but you can actually verify by just going through the process and, seeing that these are the things as, mentioned. Again, the core thing, cumulative 1 year, strong ties to Ghana, and then the background checks, and then those people were able to go through.
I saw one question they're asking, is this specifically for people coming from the United States? The answer is no, it's for the African diaspora in general.
Exactly. Right. And as mentioned, we have people coming from the Caribbean, Ghana Caribbean Association. The president is here. Rastafari Council and Jamaica Affairs is also here. So Black people from throughout the diaspora are being vetted at this point. And I see Rashida Hatchett Nelson says, can we please go back to the residency requirement? And then also, how do we show duration of presence? Nataki kind of spoke to that. We weren't given the direct details, but I would think that it would be passport as well. They did not give us specifics of how they're going to verify that, but the easiest way would be just looking at your passport stamps and seeing if, things show out. Again, as mentioned, that they may consider strong ties for those who may have less than a year. But what he said is that it will be difficult. If it's not up to a year, he said it would be difficult. And he said that a couple of times in the course of the conversation. In which case, he also let us know that there are going to be a series. I think I was put in the chat that there will be a series of these citizenship ceremonies even this year. It's anticipated. So those who may not get in on the March 5th ceremony, there may be a possibility for you to get in. What we also requested was a clear time frame of when these subsequent ceremonies would be, so that people are not in limbo. Some people have rearranged their entire lives, have moved to Ghana on anticipation that they will be able to move forward with citizenship. So again, we don't want people to be in limbo, as far as that goes. And then also I see Gillian Hama. I am based in Ghana and just want to confirm, how recent must the background check be? We weren't given that directly. I would say that if, according to your judgment, you think it's old enough that it's in question, you may want to just go ahead and do it again.
Typically, it has to be within a 3-month time frame to be valid.
Yeah, typically a 3-month time frame. So you can just operate on that basis. If it's older than that, you may want to consider doing it again. And do you know if it is something that can be issued the same day? Again, the background check for online tends to be within 24 hours. And then you can also expedite the Ghana-based one. And I see Abundant Life Born Again. So if one doesn't have 1 year of residency, how else can one be considered for this program? I think I spoke to that as well. They said the strong ties may outweigh, but he said, again, the 1 year. You can use your judgment. Again, you can go down for the vetting without having paid ahead of time, is an understanding that I have. And if anybody has a different understanding, you can please bring that forward. But you can, if you think that, you have enough of the strong ties, then you can decide to go forward with the vetting and, see if that's going to be what you want to do. However, 1 year is what we were told. What does the fee cover? Ghana card, passport. The fee was said to be a citizenship fee, not for a Ghana card, not for a passport. This is a citizenship fee. And that was something else that in the town hall meeting, we said was problematic because we've never been charged a fee for citizenship. We were charged an administrative fee. From my understanding, they're now saying the 25,000 Ghana cedis is a quote unquote administrative fee, where the 1,500 has been collapsed into it. But you are not going to get, other things apart from citizenship as far as the current understanding is. All right, and I see Kojo Date, background checks app.backgroundchecks.com. He put the link in the chat. It's who I use, pretty quick turnaround. He did get his citizenship through RepatriateToGhana as part of the 524. Can FBI background check be used if you work in the financial industry? That can be used as well. I know people who had FBI checks or police checks where they actually went to a police station. So they're looking for background checks, and as long as it's valid, I don't anticipate them, turning you away with that. And then how do current requirements differ from the previous? And if so, what precipitated the current updated requirements? For those who may not be aware of the issued requirements, I think that's what Nataki gave at the outset, at least some background into what precipitated our town hall meeting. But there were quite a few things that were on that list. I don't know if maybe somebody, as I'm going through the chat, can just copy and paste the original list that was sent out. If not, I can paste it because it was sent to, people who are coming through RepatriateToGhana. But there are quite a few things, including DNA, including background checks, including a whole host of other things. They did have the strong ties, and that wasn't well defined. But as we've been told verbally, not in writing, those 3 core pillars, if you have those, then they would consider you. Then I see Z, do you think it's likely that they will change the fee? If we refuse to pay the fee, would it be a waste of time to go through the vetting process? In terms of likeliness or not likeliness, I can't speak to probabilities, but I can say that my constituency will be in our meeting when we do have a meeting with the government. We will be campaigning for that fee to either be waived altogether or significantly reduced. Other leaders can speak to their own constituencies and how they feel about it. But that's something that I will definitely say is that I don't think that there should be a citizenship fee, especially when Ghana has positioned itself as a moral leader on questions of reparations. As Ghana has positioned itself as saying that the diaspora is the 17th region, that some of these things like having a citizenship fee, which may, pose hurdles and challenges to those exact same people who they're saying to come home. From my point of view, and I stand on this, those don't match, right? And we can go back to the 2016 speech by President Mahama, where he said he's going to turn the door of no return to a door of return, where he said what he's doing, he deserves no thanks or praise because he's restoring our right, our birthright as citizens of Ghana and Africa, that these things don't match. And from this, we're also requesting a meeting with the president himself because it came to our attention that there are other members, high-ranking members in the NDC who, until we met with them, they had no idea that there was this backlash and firestorm and all these things were going around the requirements. So I'll just leave it at that. I won't speak too deeply into that.
Yes, I would like to say something here, my brother.
Please, Ross Oswald.
Yes, I think we need to spend some time and give some attention to the background check. And the reason why I'm saying that is that we need to clarify clearly what it is that would prevent someone from being qualified where that background check is applied. Is it misdemeanor or whatever it is? There needs to be a guideline as regards to that, because remember, the United States is a police state. Remember, racism played a key role in incarceration of Black people in the United States of America who have been disenfranchised. So we need to build a legal team to actually look into some of those where there are human rights issues that has caused a lot of our people to be incarcerated. So that legal team would be able to interface with the government here to verify, clarify, and represent from a justice standpoint where some of these individuals may be implicated in what they would call crimes in the United States when it would just only be a human rights issue. People fighting for their rights. So I would like for us to table that to be something for us to focus on in terms of getting a legal team to ensure that the rights of our people are not being violated because of the fact that they want to come back home, they want to repatriate.
Thank you for that. Nana Kosia, you want to speak to that as well?
Yes, I just wanted to say that in my conversation with the Deputy Director of the Office of the President of Diaspora Affairs, I feel very confident in the fact that they are understanding that some of the legal issues that we face and some of the administrative criminalization that often happens in America, they really weren't looking for that. They really just want to maintain and keep Ghana to be a safe country. So I do agree with Baba Ross that moving forward, a legal team is something that we definitely may need in this process to kind of help us navigate through some of the criteria and the details for the future. But I was feeling good about leaving that conversation that this is not a situation where the government is nitpicking, that they understand. And our deputy director is from New York City. So he's not coming from a situation where he too is not profiled when he's at home. He's very much aware of that. So I feel very optimistic about that. In addition to what has been stated before, I just want to provide some reassurance that, you know, we're trying to make the best decisions and supporting those of you that are interested in proceeding with the citizenship application process, given the terrain, given the current terrain. And what that means is we have people that it's also difficult for them not to move forward with the citizenship process at this time. And then we're looking at, okay, what's the best ways to make, what are the best ways to engage the government about some of the barriers that they've instituted, such as the 25,000 CD fee, which could be a major hindrance for families. Because in this case, you're talking about 25,000 CDs per individual per application. So we are still lobbying for the government to rid that barrier. However, and I'm speaking on behalf of my constituents, for some of them that are ready to go, we also don't want them bottleneck. Like, if you're ready to go, you have your money, go ahead and go through the process as is. Is the process broke? Yep. Do we need to continue working on fixing it? Absolutely. But we don't want a situation where people feel like we're asking them not to move forward in the process. And they're looking at us like, well, that's easy for you to say because you got your citizenship. But what about those of us that, for various variables and reasons, that it would be a major disruption in their life to not move with that process as it stands, especially if they have all of those things that the government is asking for. Again, our lobbying is for the disenfranchised population and disenfranchised demographic of our people, in addition to the I don't know, the moral rationale that it just don't make sense, right? But we can work those two parallels at the same time. So that's just my opinion that I wanted to give Thank you.
I think these are very good points for, myself. The point that Ross Oswald made, some who know my story, I was arrested on trumped up charges before I came to Ghana to do my PhD and so forth. So, the fact that, so specifically the U.S. is a police state, and many of us have gone through all types of challenges that, that should definitely be taken into account. So they're asking for a background check, but they have not said that if they see a blemish on your record, then that automatically disqualifies you. But they are definitely requiring the background check, in any event. And then also to Nana Akoshia's point, I think that is definitely well taken. We have people who have been waiting ever since the town hall meeting for some word for us. So those who are ready to move with these 3 points as they were articulated, we would not want to stand in your way, but we are, still working. And one thing that we want to do is make sure that the representatives of all of these various constituencies are there at the decision-making table. For us, the reason why the requirements were so far off the mark in the first place is because there were no historic diasporans who are part of that decision-making process. I actually brought that up to the deputy director the day before they released those requirements. I was like, you realize that there's not a single person from the historic diaspora who works here in the Office of Diaspora Affairs. He was like, yeah, you're right. Same thing for Bureau of Diaspora Affairs at Ministry of Foreign Affairs, that, if we're at the table, there are certain things that we could have told them are not going to go over very well. And a lot of this could have been avoided. So I'll pause on that and then come back to the questions in the chat. And that's the point of us lobbying. And we don't want just one single person to go and lobby and say, oh, that's cool with me, but then come back to the rest of us and it's not cool with all of us. So we need some type of entirely different representative system where maybe the concerns of those from the Caribbean are slightly different from those based in the US, and those may be different from those based in the, the UK or wherever, that, if we're all at the decision-making table, at least in some degree of representation, then, we can avoid some of those challenges. And I see the question from Cecilia Davis: for those who are not currently in Ghana, does this mean we must return to Ghana in order to apply and submit application material? Yes, they're doing the vetting at the W.E.B. Du Bois Center. I don't know if any other of my co-hosts have gotten a date by which they're going to stop the vetting. If you have gotten that, then please let us know, because I know some people who are interested and may want to fly back into the country. They would need to know when that cutoff date is. What we have been told is that the 5th of March is what they are looking to do the ceremony on. So you'll want to get here as soon as possible to go through that vetting process if you want to go in on this round. Again, keeping in mind that there are going to be subsequent rounds. I see NG saying similar question I have. For those who was in Ghana for over 2 years but wasn't informed of the recent citizenship ceremonies, do we have to start residency over? Again, he said cumulatively over 1 year. That means any period of time, if you were here from 2002 to 2003, if you were here from 2022 to 2024, if it's over a year, then they would consider you cumulatively according to the most recent information that we've gotten.
Nana, I'm
Yep.
here with someone that has actually moved forward through the process, and I wanted her to share her experience from the very beginning of her process to where she is now. That's the best way, so that people can, benchmark her process. And again, I just think it's different for everyone. So this is a situation where it's just about pleading your case. Some people are going to go through, and some people are going to go through later. I don't necessarily say you won't go through. I tell people this is not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, and that's important. So I'll turn the phone over. Yeah, you can just share whatever you want to share about your process.
Okay. Greetings, family. This is Adama. So for me, I moved here in 2022. I got a residency permit. I asked for 2 years. They only gave me 1 year. Then I had a family situation that actually took me back to the States. So I ended up, even though I moved all my things here and I thought I was going to be here permanently, I ended up being a go and come kind of person. Last year, I actually was 2024. I had an appointment with the ministry, but I could not come from the US, so I missed the 2024 process. This year, definitely made sure I was going to be in the country. Came when they opened up the vetting. I'm sorry, last October, I sent my interest I was told to send my interest to the Ministry of Diaspora Affairs or Office of Diaspora Affairs. So I remember sending something October 2025. Got on the ground. I'm a member of AAA and I'm a member of CRAG. So I made sure that I filled out my interest application, my interest for both organizations. When they opened up the vetting and then they paused it, but then they opened it again, I went down there because I had turned my passport in to get a new residency permit. So I knew that, like, I have my receipt showing that GIS had my passport, and a copy of Ghana information, Immigration Services had my passport. And I paid for a 2-year residency permit, and that's $388 a year. And for 2 years. And so they hold, they're processing it. And I knew I needed it. So I had a copy of my biodata page, the receipt to show that GIS was holding the passport. I had already brought my local from the States, my police report. The FBI? No, not FBI. It's literally my county in New York, because I'm from New York State, and I just pulled my county report. What else did we have to take? Birth certificate, name change, because I changed my name from my legal name that my mom and daddy gave me. I legally changed my full name, so I took my name change as well. I did not wait to be called. When they said they were opening vetting, I went down there last Thursday. I was able to sit down, show them all the paperwork I have, explain to them, I still needed my police report from NEMA, but I needed my passport back from GIS so that I could go and get that. Meanwhile, they still vetted me. They went through the paperwork I had. They asked me why Ghana. They seemed to be really interested in economic development and, contributions that I've made in Ghana. And I was able to share, the different basically philanthropical things that I had done and the relationships that I built. And I explained to them because I had a residency visa and the type of visa I had, it said I couldn't work. So I didn't think that I could do anything economically and not get in trouble. So they weren't. So one of the committee members told the other committee members, like, yeah, they're different, visas. So, they were able to be okay with that. They asked me about my marital status. They asked me about children. But lots of head shaking, like, yes. They asked me about TWE. We got into a spirited conversation about the fact that I think Fonte should also be included in Google's new thing that they're doing here in Ghana. And,
How long was your interview?
The interview probably was about 20.
You gotta be careful not to call it an interview. How long was the conversation?
The conversation was about 20, 25 minutes, maybe. Okay. And it was pleasant. They were very pleasant. It was pleasant. So again, that was Thursday. Friday, I went to NEMA Police Station, even though I
said NEMA Police Station. You went to CID headquarters at NEMA Police
there
Station.
she goes. She said CID headquarters at NEMA Police Station. But anyway, when you get to NEMA Police Station, you'd be like, I need a police report. They point you to the area. So if you have your residency permit, it's 150 Ghana cedis. If you don't have your residency permit, it's 2,000 Ghana cedi. So I was trying to show the dude, like, look, I'm getting a residency permit. It's at GIS. And he was like, that's cute, but I need it because we attach a copy. So until then, either you're going to pay the 2,000. I was like, you know what? Wait, I'm going to get my passport. I'll be back. So I still have yet to go get that because this week coming, or the week that we're in, I'm working to get my passport expedited with my residency permit so I can go get my NEMA passport.
So have you received communication from them?
Yes, I did. So meanwhile, though, so remember that was Thursday. I saw them. Friday, I went to NEMA. Saturday, I got a text from the Ministry of the Interior saying, congratulations, I was invited to move forward and be vetted. I was vetted and I was invited to move forward and to do the application.
What does the application consist of? Is it paying the 25,000 CDs? Is it biometrics? Because some people have moved forward, but they've been invited to do biometrics. So that's why I want to.
Right. So I'll be honest. So I didn't go any further because I know I don't have all the paperwork to upload at the same time. So my goal was by the time I get my passport, Did
they assign you a number or anything, or just a text message on your phone, an SMS?
It was a text message specifically to my phone. And it was, you have been vetted and you are invited to move forward in this process.
Got it.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
So I want to say thank you for allowing me to pull you and share that impromptu on the spot. And I hope that answers a lot of questions. Because one of the questions is going to be like, so you got vetted and you haven't turned in a police report, technically. Yes. Right. So that's why I'm saying it's just about people pleading their case.
I took the one, right?
Oh, she had a local police report in her possession.
Right.
And now she's in the process of getting to Ghana. So I'm gonna turn the mic back over, but I hope that helps people understand a bit more about the process. Thank you.
Right. And based on what was shared, she did the vetting without yet having paid the 25,000 CDs, which is consistent with what the deputy director said, correct?
Yes.
Right. Okay, thank you. So, and then I see from Marie Williams, all this has been on the website for 2 days now. So I like the fact that vetting is first so that 25,000 is not wasted. We can do it. but I still say GCA, that's Ghana Caribbean Association, should leave the coalition. We will probably come back to that at a different meeting. This is just for guidance. Thank you for that clarification. I am now seeking citizenship. I appreciate the knowledge. I'm now in the United States, returning from Ghana. Thank you. Please share any online links that has been shared for one that was actually successful. Is DNA or blood work still a requirement? No. Our results of the vetting expected to be in real time. We find out right away if we have passed or is there a waiting period. We just heard from the sister Adama that she got a text message that said that she passed after the conversation was done. Will the dates for future ceremonies be given in enough time for people outside of Ghana to come for the ceremony? That is something that those leaders of organizations who are on the line right now will be campaigning for, lobbying for. We don't know what the government will do, nor can we compel them to do anything beyond what they actually do. But that's definitely one of the main things that we would like to ensure, that people have a clear time frame that, okay, there's March, there's July, there's October, and so whatever it is, we just want to know what it is so that people can move, with that knowledge and not be, stuck.
One of the things, Nana, one of the things that we share with people in AAAG is that if you're not able to make it in the March ceremony, start the preparation process. So basically, for everyone that was not able to make it in November 2024, you wasn't able to make it in December 2024, because even after we had a process, we had a ceremony in November, we turned around and had one like 3 weeks later, 3 to 4 weeks later in December. And so I'm very optimistic that there's going to be another citizenship ceremony quite soon, actually. My encouragement here is that save your money, do whatever it is that you need to do for yourself in order to prepare. And be realistic. If you know you are not able to make March, we've been pushing the 25,000 fee that they're charging. It has not budged. We're going to continue pushing, but still save your money. If you need, I tell all of my constituents that live outside, put aside $5,000. And I told them that for those people that may have to fly back home for an emergency and you need to come back and you're not able to sit in Ghana for 3 months or 4 months, which has typically been the standard for the process. This is a new government, different from the last 8 years, and so many things are changing, but preparation is the key. And if citizenship is something that you want, just begin to kind of do the work. Save your money so that if they come and we're not able, they don't budge on this fee, you're still in a position to move forward. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yeah.
I wanted to add something. This is Nataki again. There was a comment in the chat earlier and something that Nana Akosua said related to all this is being done by us who are volunteers. We all already have our citizenship. The leaders of organizations who are on this call are doing this to help those of you who want to become citizens to get through this process, and also to make it an equitable process for everyone who comes after you. So I know we're all thinking in real time, like, what does this mean to me? And that's important. But we also want to make sure that if you get citizenship now, and let me say it differently, if you get citizenship now, that the way that it happens and the way that we're able to begin working with policymakers is a solid process, because what we also don't want to happen is, we just go through a process now and then some hurdle happens in the future, and because we don't have things in place as a collective, that it poses a challenge. So I do want to just highlight and amplify the fact that it's not just the requirements now. We're sharing the requirements so that people can decide for yourself, yes, I want to move forward no matter what. And those who may want to wait and see what's going to happen with some of the requests that we have, may still want to do that. But I wanted to emphasize that as someone put in the chat, it is helpful, and I would recommend that you do join one of the organizations that's on this call or some other organization. It is. I would not recommend that you pick up and move to another country and expect to navigate all the legal, financial, political, social, cultural, financial, all of these things, and not be associated with some group of people who knows who you are, where you are, what you're doing, and you know, just I just want to put it out there that moving here, people are moving here for various reasons, but I think it is recommended that you be a part of a community for any number of reasons. So, you know, as you're hearing from some of the leaders on this call, you've heard from the Rastafari Council. I mean, the leaders went around and introduced themselves. Craig is on the call, the Marcus Garvey Foundation, DOOR, other organizations. I can't even see the list right now, but please do, as much as you're interested in citizenship, I think you also should be interested in connecting with an organization so that you're not just alone in a country. Because positive things can happen to you, and also challenges can happen anywhere you are in the world, and you need resources.
Thank you, Nataki. One question that I see is that do you have to be part of any of the organizations to have your name added on a citizenship list? And the answer is no. This hasn't always been the case, but in this current process, the answer is no. You could deal directly with the government. But what I would advise you is to, I don't know how to say this any other way, but join an organization, because for me, if you're a member of our organization, you're also, it puts you in a space where information is just flowing, versus if you're not a member and you're just on an isolated like island trying to figure it out. And I know none of us here have the time to be on the phone with like 50 people per day that's interested in citizenship, when if you're part of an organization, some of your questions, you know, some of our members, they go to these processes in groups, they share is different for all 10 people, but once they intersect on their information and they share the best practices, it helps the people coming behind them know like what's the best thing to do. All of this is still pioneer work. This is still literally like almost just a 10-year process from 2016 to 2026 in terms of groups of people being given citizenship in Ghana. Ghana is still like a young country. It's still growing. It's still learning. And so the best way to, I think, navigate these processes is go through an organization. We're not on here trying to trying to make people join our organizations. That's the furthest thing from our mind. What we are trying to do is just make this easier. And for those of us that know that part of our service when you become a citizen is just to give back and make it easier for other people to do it. Technically, 524 people got citizenship. All 524 of those people should be lobbying for the next group of people to come through. So that's what I wanted to add. Thank you.
I would just like to add on to that. It's very important for us to become part of an organization or establish an organization. And the reason why I'm saying that is that this collective security that we are talking about in general. And if we are coming home and we say that we want citizenship and we are going to become citizens, we must be prepared to participate in the social and political process of the country as citizens, not just as individuals who enjoy the privilege to get citizenship and do not show any care or concern about the development of the society. And this is where organization comes in. And I can remember Dr. Kwame Nkrumah said, organization determines everything. It helps you to be organized, it helps you to be supportive. And as I said before, it's collective security. Give thanks.
All right. And something else that came up through when we looked at the Ministry of Interior portal, and again, we were told that those recommendations that are on the Ministry of Interior portal are separate from what is being looked at for this vetting process, because this is an executive order. But this came up in terms of strong ties that they are looking at a Ghanaian language. They didn't say specifically it has to be Chi, but it said a Ghanaian language. So if you can recite poetry in Ga, then they would be blown away by that, as well. But for those who are interested in Chi, which can take you far, AAAG, and this is one of the benefits of being part of an organization, has organized classes that I'm teaching at the Institute of African Studies, which is where I work as an associate professor, PhD linguistics, so forth and so on. But we have those classes just so that members of that organization can be accepted and respected. And I always say that's the number one deciding factor in terms of how well accepted and respected you are, is the degree to which you're willing to, make some effort at the very least to enculturate yourself, to learn the language, to learn Ghana, as a country, to learn the people, as opposed to, those natives over there. That's not the type of vibe that, we would encourage, I think so. We would definitely encourage, and they're saying that they're even considering that when it comes to strong ties. They said it could be you have a business, you have an NGO, so forth, but also you speak a Ghanaian language, and then they would, take that into account in terms of strong ties. And that may be the thing that puts you over the top. Let's say if you have 11 months, it's not quite a year, but then they see that, this person is, fluent in this, that they can look at that as well. So I just wanted to add that. We have another class coming up on the 21st. You can reach out to AAAG, Nana Kosia, for more information on that.
Also, you can reach out to the Rastafari Council, the Ghana Caribbean Association, any one of these organizations for information on the DREE class. And one of the things I really appreciate is that we are working together in this space and we're looking out for each other. I also want to take a minute to thank you because you stated that you spoke with the Deputy Director of the Office of the President of Diaspora Affairs, but what you didn't say is that entire conversation was in their local language. And that means a lot when we have an ambassador like yourself, and I know you don't like that word right now, but when you're representing us and you're able to have those conversations in the local language, it changes the whole game. So I want to personally say thank you to in front of everybody that's on the phone. I want to personally say thank you to Dr. Malana. I believe he's joining the call, to Kovoy, to Baba Razwad, to all of us that have been losing sleep, just making sure that we're lobbying. And sometimes it's disheartening when I'm getting on chats and people are just kind of like, they're just worried about the citizenship. This thing just doesn't happen. There's no magic in this. There's actual work being done to make sure. And I'm encouraging you, those of you that are able to utilize this information, once you get your citizenship, you got to roll up your sleeves and do the same thing. So thank you to all of the shoulders that we stand on.
And I would like to say thank you for that. And I would like to say publicly, as I've said on many occasions, that without Dr. Maulana, I would not have gotten citizenship. This happened due to a forum that he created, a series of meetings that we had going from 2015 up until 2016, called Ministry of the Future. And he called Ambassador Nikwesi Kwate, who took those forums to the president. So I definitely want to give Dr. Maulana his flowers. He's been sidelined by some people who find themselves in the spotlight, who had absolutely nothing to do with the citizenship process whatsoever. But, since we have 88 people on, one thing that he said at the 2016 ceremony that I found profound, he said, my citizenship is meaningless unless it's tied up with the citizenship of all my brothers and sisters in the diaspora. And I took that and ran with it as well, that I've been agitating and, lobbying and doing everything to assist others in getting citizenship as well. So if we can give Dr. Maulana a round of applause, because now you're seeing it happen in Sierra Leone, in Benin, in Guinea-Bissau, Burkina is somewhere in between. But all of that started with the 2016 ceremony. Most people know Year of Return. The Year of Return was to outdo what the NDC had done with 34. They said, we'll do 126, but even that wouldn't have happened in terms of the ripple effects in Ghana without the initial ceremony. And we owe a debt of gratitude to Dr. Maulana. So let me continue to the questions that we have. And once the questions are exhausted, does someone else have something to say?
Yeah, it's Nataki. I put two numbers in the chat. I got some private messages, and to make this easier, we know that there was not a registration. I want to point out there was not a registration form for you to join this chat, so we do not have your contact information. If you're wanting follow-up, what I am, I guess, in real time proposing is that anyone who texts their name, phone number, email address, and any of the numbers that apply below. If you're interested in citizenship, joining an organization, getting involved, or staying connected, you can text 1, 2, 3, 4, or any of these numbers, and we'll compile that into a list so you can get a one-sheeter on with the websites of the organizations or these kinds of things, so you can see exactly how you can get plugged in. It does seem like a lot of people are on their own, and you may know others who are on their own. And so joining one or more of these resources just puts you in a better position, as we said. So, and I do want to emphasize, as Nana Akosua has said, we are all doing this on a volunteer basis, but this would not be numbers that you could use to get personal one-on-one updates. We're just going to simply give you resources to connect with the entities that are doing the work and sharing it with their constituents.
All right, thank you so much, Nataki.
Nana,
Yeah.
Prof, you have like 5 different titles, so let me stick to Nana Campbell. Quick question. I know, are we able to do a repeat on this conversation tomorrow night at the same time? Can we agree on when the next one would be? Because then I would send out the email to our constituents. So the members of AAAG were not, did not have notice of this meeting. So I want to know when the next time is so I can go ahead and send that out tonight.
I can make myself available, and this Zoom link can be available. You know what? Let's do another Zoom link where it's going to be it'll have a registration attached. So I'll create
That'd
that
be
link. And are other leaders of organizations available tomorrow?
Yes, I am available. Rastafari Council is available.
All right, Black Task.
Born Again Soul Repatriate Consult.
So I might not be available, but I can invite.
Yes, I can be available.
Yeah.
Brother,
thank you. And I'm sorry.
Lisa just asked, how do I get notifications of these meetings? If you scroll back up in the chat, there was 2 phone numbers that you were invited to text if you wanted to stay connected. Please scroll back up and text your information to that. I do see that somebody put their information in the chat on this Zoom. Please do not use this Zoom call. Once this Zoom is over, this will not be retained, and no one is collecting it here in the chat. Also, this is a public forum, so you don't need to put your personal information there. Yes.
I think for us to move forward, one of the things they can do is join one of their organizations. That makes it simple for us to keep track of them and to keep data in terms of how their process is going. I know we had over 270 applicants, and I was asked for the list this year. So if you,
and that's what I suggested. So I asked them to text their name, phone number, email address, which organization, it doesn't even matter. And I'm going to do a one-sheeter that lists all of the organizations, their contact information. If you want to give me your logo, I'll put it on there as well, so that they know which organizations are even on this call, so that, yes, they can join an organization. So this will not be a list where information is going out about citizenship updates directly. It's going to be how you plug into one of these organizations that's doing the work, so you can get more information that way.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I want to shout out the Black Agenda.
Black Agenda has been doing work for years. I've been seeing them all, for years.
Right.
All right. So let's continue. I want to exhaust these questions in the chat, and then once we do, we can call a pause to things. I see. Let me come back up. Recent have background check. We got that.
Some people missed the 3 main things that they need to have.
All right. So those who missed, I see quite a few people are on the line now. So the 3 main things that they're looking for, and I see that somebody also posted a screenshot in the chat, but in the conversation with the deputy director, he said the 3 core things they're looking for is that the people have lived in Ghana cumulatively for 1 year or more, and that doesn't have to be continuous in one uninterrupted block, that they have strong ties to Ghana. And the examples that were given were starting a business or contributing to local economic activity, purchasing land and or building a house, speaking a Ghanaian language, establishing an NGO or community initiative, or other demonstrable contributions or impact on society. And then 3 background checks from your quote unquote home country and Ghana.
And again, you can get the background check from your home country by going online and getting it in 24 hours or less.
Right.
And then you go to NEMA for police station for your Ghana police report.
Very good. All right. And I'll try to go through these as expeditiously as possible because.
The ones that just resolved the answer. You just answered the question by removing those people.
And I see, can anyone go for vetting? Any Black person who qualifies as a historic diaspora and can go for vetting. And then Rashida Hatchett Nelson, when I spoke to Diaspora Office of the President, they said go for the vetting before you pay. That's consistent with what was shared with me as well. And they were clear that's the best way to move forward. And they responded, they gave me that response when I asked about the non-refundable fee. They said the fee doesn't come into play until after you've been vetted. If I'm not in Ghana, is there an option to do the vetting digitally? No. That is a no. They want people to be in person and coming there. We actually suggested that in the past, and that was still a no. If that's something that anybody thinks needs to be lobbied for, my mother is shaking her head, don't even put that on the table. But the answer to your question is no, you have to come here for the vetting. What I will say is that I had some of my Repatriate to Ghana clients who did the vetting, they did the biometrics. Last time, a lot of people were here already for the Sankofa Journey and a BB2Me conference, so they did all the vetting. However, they weren't able to be here for the ceremony. However, and I see some of them are actually on the line right now, they were able to, because they did the vetting, they were able to come and get their citizenship, that's the oath document and the biometric document after the fact. So even if you're not here for the ceremony, you can still get the citizenship if you did the vetting and the biometrics, right? So that is something else. DNA blood work, we already addressed that. Real time, we already addressed that. Do you need to have a physical birth certificate? You can have a copy of that birth certificate, but bring that in, print it out if you can. Yes, so you need to bring that.
Anna, can I come in?
Yes, go ahead.
One of the young ladies that I was able to advise last week who went for vetting, those people that have DNA, I know you have some personal stances regarding DNA, but for people that have a DNA certificate that says Ghana, they absolutely should add it to their documentation. For those people that already have it, I am not suggesting anyone here goes and get DNA. There are those of you that have these documents and they're just sitting around in your house. Add it to your application. Once she was able to show she had a DNA thing, she didn't have half of the documents. The DNA thing, they just moved her through the vetting process. So that also happened last week. So I just want to add that. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that as well. And part of the concern that was expressed at the town hall was that, you know, some of the things that they asked for, you would have had to already be sitting on that. So for those who already, you know, have some of those types of things like the DNA, then, you know, the more the merrier, because again, it's more of an art than a science. And those are the types of things that can push you over. Eligibility, I see applicants must be 18 years or older to qualify. Okay, so these are just people who have posted in the old, those are the old requirements. Is it necessary for the diaspora to be considered a recognized quote unquote tribe or quote unquote class? Meaning, will citizenship give us full rights? Are we still fall under foreign citizen? That citizenship under naturalization, you have the right to do all of the various other things. Holding public office, if you retain the other citizenship, may be one of the sticking points. When we met with the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, he, you know, let us know about a whole thing where he had, I believe it was Canadian citizenship as well as Ghanaian citizenship. He's born and raised in Ghana, but he went and got that. And the MPP came after him saying, oh, you still have that foreign citizenship, so therefore you can't be an MP. He renounced his foreign citizenship and stuck with the Ghanaian citizenship. So that is something that would apply whether or not you're a historic diasporan. For certain offices, that you would not be able to have that foreign citizenship and still be considered for that office.
They need to know that Trump is lobbying against us. So you may have to choose one.
Right. And another point that's been brought up is that there has been an act, and we discussed this in a previous meeting amongst the leaders of the various organizations, that there is an act that has been proposed where the U.S. is no longer going to recognize dual citizenship, where you will be forced to choose within 6 months of that being ratified or enacted. So people may want to take that into consideration as well. Continuing. So from Leroy Diaz, these are the new requirements per proof of legal residence. And that's, again, going to the first point of a year cumulatively, birth certificate, strong ties, police clearance from home country and Ghana, bio page of valid passport, and then passport picture. So that's the list that they received in an email yesterday from the Ministry of Interior, and that's very much consistent with what was shared verbally, that most of those initial requirements that you can scroll up to see what they were in the chat have been scrapped.
One of the questions is, if you went through a naming ceremony and you have a letter from a chief, would that be considered strong ties? And I just want to encourage people, whatever you have in your arsenal or whatever you have sitting at your desk, add it to your application and let them be the ones to tell you if it can't work or if it can work. So I wouldn't, you know, I don't think there's any yes or no answer. This is very subjective. So if you have it, add it to your application so that it's strengthened. Like, it's better to be in your application than at home in a drawer.
Right. And there's a proverb in Chi, they say, and I'm doing saying quine, and it translates to a whole lot of meat doesn't spoil the soup. For vegans on the line, you should have told you to close your ears. But the point is, if you have 20 different documents, add all of those documents, right? Because it's only going to weigh even heavier in your favor. To continue, right? And I'm seeing the screenshot of those same new requirements. I received an email that said come for vetting between the 16th and 20th from the Ministry of the Interior. So for those who are out of the country, again, there are slated to be, we've been told directly that there will be other ceremonies, but if you can get into the country for the vetting by the 20th, then that would work well in your favor to get in for the March 5th one. And I see, so because we'll be that would be naturalized citizens, we wouldn't be able to get our family citizenship, meaning children and spouse, through the traditional means. I can say as a naturalized citizen, I have gotten my children citizenship. My wife also came through. So I got it in 2016 as the original batch that came through. President Mahama, my wife, my mother, my father, and my auntie, everybody else got citizenship in the year of return 2019. One, when that list was still coming through me at the Institute of African Studies. But yes, my children, they got it through, there's a process at the Ministry of Interior and I have the documents. I just saw them like a couple of days ago, where you can register your children as Ghanaian citizens if they're under 18. So that is definitely a way that can still be done, having been a naturalized citizen. Does anyone know if the birth certificate is a deal breaker? Again, add as much as you can. Because it's subjective, add as much as you can. Thank you so much. This has really helped. Thank you, Empress Marsha.
Nana, it takes about, you can now get birth certificates in about 3 or 4 days. It is something I needed to get it for a different process. And it took me 4 days. I ordered it. Somebody opened up the mail, screenshot it, and sent it to me, and it was submitted. So if you know you don't have your birth certificate, go to your state's Department of Vital Statistics. If you're in the United States, this is something that you can get within 3 days turnaround. So whatever you don't have, let's just work on getting it, because you still are going to need your birth certificate to get a passport. Even after citizenship, it will be requested again once you have become a citizen, but now you need a passport. They'll ask for that birth certificate again, even though you're a citizen. It's just part of their process.
Right. And I can say that I did the same thing for a different process where I needed the birth certificate. It was, I think, sent DHL in like a day or two, coming out of New York. And the person just scanned it in, and I just was able to print out the digital copy. I haven't even gotten the hard copy. I just needed that digital copy. So people who have total name changes, it becomes more difficult. You want to speak to that?
Right. Yeah, I have a total name change. So the birth certificate, they were going to, is obviously not that name. And then one company was going to give me a birth certificate in this name, but I didn't trust that process. The other process is if you have documents of your name change. So again, as Nana Kosi is saying, all the material you can give them is possible. So your original birth certificate, your name change, some people just change their first name in marriage, all of that is necessary.
My mother didn't want to be on camera, so let's move her off camera.
One of the questions, he said that she needs a birth certificate from Jamaica, and I'm saying that where it may be beneficial to be a member of the Ghana Caribbean Association if you're not already, because maybe there's an attorney and that's one of the members, or they have a process where they can assist you with getting birth certificates from Jamaica, or you never know. There's a Jamaican consul in Nigeria. That may be something that someone has a link to that can assist you. So this is why it's important to be a part of these organizations for some of these challenges that are unique.
I see one question about if children are born in Ghana by diasporans. Yes, your children will be Ghanaian citizens later before you can make the paperwork with the U.S. Embassy to give them U.S. citizenship if you like.
Right. Thank you for that. And then I also see, can it be clarified that we don't need to pay membership to diaspora organizations moving forward to be considered for citizenship or put on a list? So the organizations that I know of are not charging people for citizenship. There may be organizations that are assisting you with your repatriation in various ways, or being part of a network or community and so forth. But again, that is not what you're using to move forward in the citizenship process. It has been recommended that in order to smooth your path for various reasons, you may want to join an organization, right? So, and the different organizations have been mentioned several times, but you're not paying any organization a quote unquote citizenship fee. They are assisting you in whatever processes that they are assisting you with. If you apply directly to the diaspora office, there is no fee. This is a government initiative. It is not tied to associations from Shaz. There is a fee. There's a 25,000 CD fee from the government. And they're saying that now, initially they were saying it's a citizenship fee. And then they were saying that there's an administrative fee. That they're collapsing both of those together under 25,000 and calling that an administrative fee. So there is a fee, and that is going to the government. So absolutely highly advisable to connect with an organization to help navigate the system in Ghana. And I can say, like, for example, there are people who I help with citizenship who they have water issues, and I give them a barrel, right? That's not like, these are things that you just have people who are in your corner who are going to walk with you to, the hospital to make sure that your health checks are in order. Like, it pays to be part of a community, a collective of people who are looking out for you. I can give you examples of those who are not part of a community and were, just off on their own, and how that didn't work out, but I don't want to scare anyone. But I'll just say that
Can I
it
give an
pays.
example, Nana?
If you want to, or you may want to scare people, but go ahead. Maybe you
No,
give
no,
yours.
no. This is a good example. We
Okay.
had a member that was that was from Guadalupe, and the going through the interview process, they denied her. And what ended up happening is I had to go and meet with the director of the Diaspora Affairs Office to have a whole history lesson that Guadalupe is a part of the Caribbean. And they wasn't understanding, well, why does she speak French? And I had to send links, pictures of Black people in Guadalupe, everything, because they had denied her. And they was like, no, this is not for French countries. And so I'm just saying, because this person was a member, I didn't mind spending all of my time to make sure, because she was devastated. Then there was another person. They began to watch your social media profiles. They were like, well, why should we give this person membership? And this is what they're saying about, I'm sorry, why should we give this person citizenship? And this is what they're saying about Ghana. We get those phone calls, especially on those, they call us sometimes like, who is this person? And we be like, oh boy, okay, here's what we mean. But when you get to know this person, here's all the other stuff that the person has done for Ghana. That's just social media. That's just for the gram. So I want to say that is when it becomes a big deal, when you got a bunch of people or a group of people that are willing to go above and beyond and to bat for you. It's all good when you're on your island and things are moving smoothly, but then there may be a day that you may need community.
Yeah,
And our community, these organizations, they're not easy to be a part of. Go ahead, Baba Yazid.
what I was going to say is, the network in the community. What they don't know about all of us on the panel here is that we've all known each other for at least 10 years, just about everybody here. Raswad, Dr. Malana, Dr. Cambone, yourself, Akoswa. We've all kind of known each other, not necessarily living in the same uh, area or district or region, but we all kind of have known something about each other, and that's how we kind of all came together here now. We all got our citizenship. Started my process in the citizenship through Ministry of the Future with Dr. Malana, who my mother was very important and important and part of that process with uh, integrating and getting people into the system of the Ministry of the Future, my mother, Brenda Muhammad. And I started my process through her, but I didn't get my citizenship until 2019. So it's important, as you stated, to start the process and get yourself in. I filled out the letter and all of the applications in 2016, but there were some other issues about the citizenship process that wasn't clear at that time. That's why it was only 32, as you well stated. But I was fit into the 126 by way of the Ministry of the Future. And just like you stated, with Dr. Malana stated, if he himself only got the citizenship, then it would really be meaningless. It really means something when we all get it. So that also motivated me to also begin to create my own business. I'm not a part of an organization. I'm not an organization. I'm a business that stepped out to try to say, I get a lot of people following me online and they send me private messages and ask me, how do I get citizenship? How do I do this? How do I get married? How do I meet somebody? All these other type of questions. And as you begin to, as you're living here, your network expands, and you're able to give people better informed advice, right? Rather than, so if I have an issue, maybe I can call a COSWA, which I have, or, I can call somebody else and they can also network us to getting the solution that we're looking for. So joining an organization is a good thing, and expanding the community is a great thing. That's something we all need. I myself, I'm based in the Eastern region. So others are based in other regions. So as you begin to move here and start to integrate yourself, you'll see the value in knowing people in different areas around Ghana.
So let me, and thank you for that, Brother Yazid, and also Nana Kosia. I'm going to share, not to belabor the point, but I'll share a brief anecdote to this point. We had a friend who we hadn't seen for a day or two when we were living at Hacho. This isn't the really scary story. This was the could have been scary story. But we were like, let's go and check on her. So we checked on her. It must have been like a Friday evening. And we went there, knocked on the door. We didn't see anything. We were like, well, let's go and check again in the morning. We went and checked in the morning, and we peeked through the curtains. We were able to see through the curtains, and her body was like a skeleton. She had suffered from cerebral malaria and was this close to passing away. We had to get a locksmith to break down the door at the end of the day, take her to Nyaho Clinic, get her an IV. This is somebody who was just an island to themselves. Must have been like 2012, 2013, before there even was a Repatriate to Ghana. But these were the things that we would do just to make sure that we're connected to people and so forth, that literally this person who was an island unto herself would have passed away, if not just for the whimsical thought of let's go and check on her. And we were like, she may be fine, because she would just sometimes go to the north and wouldn't let us know. So that evening, we were like, well, she probably just went to the north. But then we're like, you know what, let's just make sure, let's check on her. So just saying that to say, if you're part of an organization, now the organizations aren't charging you, quote unquote, like this is a fee for citizenship, but there may be a fee for AAA, a fee for DOOR, or Repatriate to Ghana, or, Ghana Caribbean. They're not charging you a citizenship fee, but, what I always say with Repatriate to Ghana, the value far exceeds the cost, because there are certain intangibles in terms of what is your life worth, what is just having somebody in your corner who really cares about you. Like there are people who they're interested in land. We're walking, 2 miles into the bush to help them get the 10 acres that they're looking for. Like people aren't just going to do that or have even the time or energy or effort to do that. But, to stay connected with people is more valuable than whatever a membership fee may be, or, anything else.
Yeah, man. Dr. Kamban, I'd like to add that, and this one is actually a scary story. So just last year, we discovered a Jamaican who he isolated himself from the community. He wanted to live in the bush, and we couldn't hear from him for a while, and we actually found his body decomposed in his house. So yeah, it's actually a scary
That was the type of story that I said, let me not share, because I got stories like that too. But
Oh
yes.
yeah, man. It's like that. So it's very important that people understand community here. We also, even in the GCA, we offer insurance now for our members. So if you want insurance, if you're not a citizen or whatever it is, if you're here and something happens, we have something to cover you, because a lot of people come here without family. They come here without any type of ties to anybody. So it's very, very important that anyone who is coming to Ghana joins a community. So that's just my piece.
And let me say on the positive side that I have a Repatriate to Ghana client where, when people get married, it's not a marriage between individuals, it's families. So we came and we stood in for his family. So, because he didn't have his biological family here. So myself, my assistant, who's one of my PhD students at University of Ghana, and others who are part of Repatriate to Ghana stood in. So, these are the things that, you don't charge somebody for that. Like, that's not like a service of, oh, yeah, we'll stand in for, when you go and get married. But, when you're connected to people, you actually become part of the family. And like just a couple of days ago, one of my clients was like, I don't feel like a client, I feel like family. I'm like, yeah, that's because you are family. That's, so these are things. So let's come back to the questions and then we'll round things out. But I feel like that's a very important point.
But I would
So,
like to read what Rashida said. I wanted to make one point and then read what Rashida said to close that out.
okay.
Living in Ghana, I cannot stress this enough. I don't know if anybody has made an interstate move in the US, but touring a place and visiting a place and living in a place is a very different experience. Touring New York City and living in New York City are two vastly different experiences. And I would bet you, and people who know me know I'm the business consultant, I'm the money person. I don't play about money. I would bet anyone on this call $1 million that you have no idea what it is like living in Ghana. There are things that you think you know about life and how things work that Ghana will surprise you about on a daily basis. And if you are disconnected from other people, if you try and come here and do this as a solo journey, you will receive a rude awakening. And that's not to scare anybody or fear mongering or anything like that, but you absolutely need to be coming to Ghana. And the reason they're opening the doors is because they're hoping that you do two things. One, yes, you bring your money, but two, that you're also plugging back into community and society. And if you're planning on just coming here and being on your own, that's literally what they're not looking for. So I cannot stress, I don't know if people throw up claps in the chat, if you would agree with me that visiting here or just thinking a passport is all you need, it will be Keyboy. Ghana surprises me every day, and I've been here 6 years. Yes. Yes. I've been here 7, and yes, shocked every day.
That's
Okay.
Can you
And then I just wanted to read
answer?
what Rashida said. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
No,
I'm
go
just going to read what
Oh,
Rashida said, which is organizations need fees to run. Please, we pay for everything in the West, so small fees to be a part of organizations should be okay for us. Please let's know we can't run things on love alone. So absolutely. And these are nominal fees. Like I think some of these things are like less than $100, less than whatever. Like these are not break the bank kinds of amounts. But yes, Nana Okoso, you wanted to say something?
yes, I
I
wanted you
round
to
out at the
find Sister
yeah,
Maureen's questions. Maureen Owasu, she said we're not really answering her questions. So I was,
Where are they?
Let me try to find her question then.
yeah.
And I was scrolling down. I was scrolling down from the top and going through questions one by one, but I can fast track your question. I see what. Yeah, or if you can write it again. Nobody is intentionally going to ignore your question, but we are trying to go through. I say, so how can I be a part of your community? Was that to anyone specifically, Maureen, or any specific organization?
She said she didn't hear about the residency permit too.
I think
Okay.
Maureen, I saw the comment when it popped up. I think she was talking about DOOR. So DOOR does have a membership. It's actually scheduled to roll out on March 6th, which is Ghana's Independence Day. But there are people who are already members of DOOR. Again, I had posted numbers in the chat. If you are interested in anything, please post your contact details to that number. You can SMS text either the Ghana phone number or the US number, and we're going to compile everything and then send you the list of organizations, their websites, and their contact information, or to the brother's point, he said he has a consulting business. All that'll be compiled so it can be shared with you. So there are 86 people on the call right now. I think that number has ebbed and flowed because I saw like 96 a little while ago. So there are people coming in and leaving. We absolutely cannot get the word out to everybody, but there is going to be another town hall meeting or another call like this. Texting will allow us to send out a blast so you have all the contact information and the information about the next call. Also, we are hoping for another update towards the end of the week, and that's the best way to stay plugged into that. So I know sometimes those of you on the phone, if you toggle away from the phone, you may lose something. but do absolutely text that, because once we hang up this call, we will have no way to get back in touch with you. And if you're not a part of one of the organizations that's sending out blasts to their constituents, you may or may not hear about other things.
All right. Thank you. And I see a question from Kathleen Hunter. Will the organizations here ever consider forming a collaborative membership coalition? We may not call it that, to provide opportunity for multi-membership. For example, if I wanted to join Ghana Caribbean Association, AAAG, and DOOR, that actually is something that is being actively discussed. So you'll hear about that in very, very short order. At Friends of Asebu NGO, we offer Fancy classes. Big up. It's a fancy. We love that. Do not call these numbers. Also, that's for the text messaging. I'm interested in getting citizenship. How can I keep up with the Zooms?
Maureen had a question about the residency. I didn't think maybe it wasn't addressed.
Okay, so residence permit, correct?
Please do not put your contact information in the chat. Please use the phone numbers and SMS text your name, phone number, and email address. But please do not put it in the chat. It will not be retained. If we don't have a way to copy and consolidate it here, it'll be copied and consolidated automatically through the network.
All right, so for residence permits, that is handled through immigration. So for those who are interested or would need to get a residence permit, then you would need to see immigration. Typically, I send my clients to the immigration office that is at the Ministry of Interior. But yes, that's how you would need to do it. For Repatriate to Ghana clients, we do facilitate residence permits, permanent residence, of course, citizenship, and anything else that people need. But yes, that would need to be handled through immigration. I'm also interested in getting citizenship. We looked at that. Yeah, and we will need to wrap up. Notification.
There was a question, Nana, about that someone was suggesting that you go through a spousal citizenship. I think she said that's only 10,000. Did you see that question?
I didn't, but I can speak briefly to it. So I've been in Ghana for 17 years, and the initial citizenship process, it was Nikwesi Kwate came to our Ministry of the Future meeting in April of 2016, and we got our citizenship December 28th of 2016. I have a brother actually used to do his website for the spinal clinic. He has a wife who's Ghanaian, and he had applied for citizenship. I believe he said in 2010. I may be getting it wrong, but he ended up getting his citizenship finally, and I think it was 2017. So, that process does exist. That's a standard process. And I don't know how much, people may have different experiences with that. But I was like, from my experience, it was, from months and on the scale of months. In his process, it was on the scale of years. So, we were both reflecting on how long that took. So it may be, less expensive in that regard if you are married to a Ghanaian. But I would say you have full right, if you are married to a Ghanaian, to pursue that as an option if that's something that you're interested in. And, you can get back to us and let us know how well that works out for you.
I wanted to add that I did not. I'm sorry, not to cut you. I wanted to add that I did not pursue that option when I had the option, because with spousal support, you also have to be married for a certain amount of time before you can apply for your residency
10
permit.
years.
10
years.
Is it 10 years?
I'm also married to a Ghanaian, and I also thought about that, pursuing that route. And I believe you have to be married for 10 years, and you have to be in the country for a consecutive amount of years. And if you leave, then that kind of makes it void. So there's some stipulations inside, unless it has changed, because I went and got the application from the Ghana Immigration Services, and I asked directly about it. And that was some of the stipulations that you needed. You needed to be married for 10 years. You also needed to be in the country for a number of consecutive years. And if you leave, then it disturb your status.
All right, I'll reset. All right, thank you for that. And then
Thank you.
Maureen, yes. Maureen Owusu-Ade, I'm getting to your question now. You're concerned about residence permit and strong ties. Again, residence permit is immigration. And I mentioned that, the strong ties is, again, more of an art than a science, that he said that there are various things that they would consider to be strong ties, including but not limited to you've started a business, you speak a Ghanaian language, so forth and so on. So the more things that you can show that are ties, you've bought a house, you've bought land, built a house, any of those things. So as much as you have cumulatively, add those in to your dossier and they will consider it duly. If we have become part of a family and gone through naming ceremony, I think that was already discussed. Bring as much as possible. And someone said they heard that proverb about meat, no problem. Can you repeat that about the children, that you go to Ministry of Interior and you fill a form and go through a process for your children to be considered Ghanaian citizens? They say once you get that form, that document that shows that they're citizens, you should hold on to that for dear life, never lose it, because that is going to be their justification when they become older or anything else, that they are Ghanaian citizens. I have mine in a fireproof safe for them. Turnaround times vary by state, and that is in terms of, I believe, background check. But again, you can go online and get those much more quickly. If that's for birth certificates, you may need to look at, by state. Birth certificates in Jamaica, you will need to maybe reach out to Ghana Caribbean or Jamaican Affairs in order to look at that. What if you're married in Ghana but still go back and forth to the USA? That was already just addressed. Children born in Ghana are automatic Ghanaian citizens. That's only if one parent is Ghanaian. In my case, both me and my wife naturalized, so we had to go through that process that I just outlined at the Ministry of Interior. That once we became Ghanaian citizens, it was on that basis that they were able to get their citizenship. The spousal option was already discussed. How can you be part of the community? That was already discussed. Reach out to those phone numbers, Nataki, if you can put those up again. So I have to give up my U.S. citizenship if I get my citizenship by marriage in Ghana. Not at this time, but again, we mentioned that there's an act that's been put forth about the dual citizenship no longer applying for U.S. citizens, so you'll have to choose. The Guadeloupe, I think that was how they don't fully understand. How do those of us in Central Region connect meaningfully with the organizations? There is an organization for the Central Region, so that will be sent out for all of those who are here. I have to leave. Okay, no problem. Link. RIP Chris the Farmer, RIP Naomi, RIP Art Kathy. Can you ask Kevoy Burton, who's the president of Ghana Caribbean Association, lots of Caribbean people are from all the regions, the UK, USA, Canada, Jamaica. Organizations need fees to run. Please, we pay for everything. We mentioned that. So yes, definitely we do need fees in order to even exist. Otherwise, we can't be here 10 years after we got citizenship, worried about everybody else's citizenship, unless we're able to actually sustain doing that. Thanks, Kevoy. It's important to have community. We see your questions. I'm still scrolling. Stand by. I'm still scrolling. Ghana surprises me every day. I've been here 17 years, and I tell people that there are things that I learned in year 5 that I didn't know in year 1, things I found out in year 10 I didn't know in year 5, things in year 15 I didn't know in year 10. So that's why, sometimes I see people who start up a repatriation business or whatever, and they've been here for a year, and I'm like, yo, man, y'all are joking. And they see the glitz and glamour, but they don't see the things that are a lot less glamorous, but I'll reserve my thoughts on that. So that's very true. I do have the experience personally. Yep. And I think we're getting to the bottom of the chat. And once I get to the bottom, we're going to adjourn and just turn it over to others for final comments. Sold her home and moved to Ghana and is loving it. Glad to hear it. What site do you recommend for DNA? African Ancestry tends to be the one that is Black owned. For those who are interested in DNA, I have videos out here where I've given my thoughts on DNA, but Notwithstanding, if you do have that, you can go ahead and add that to your dossier. Our son doesn't have a residence permit, but we have been called to come for biometrics. So again, that is through immigration. Take the letter to the immigration office together with the application form. Thank you. Well, you're welcome. Residency permit process for those living in Ghana. You can reach out to any of us. Again, you can text that, Repatriate to Ghana. We do assist people with residence permit. We do assist people and others on the line, organizations, assist in various capacities. In my case, because I've been here for 17 years, I have people on the inside, and as you know, I'm sure many others may as well, to, let me say, expedite the processes. I'll leave it at that. Will this be a community where we all live together? I'll say this. So just 2 days ago, we cleared 3 acres right in front of Abibi Tumi headquarters, where our Repatriate to Ghana clients will be living together. And some of them are on the line right now. We're not, like me, myself, I've never advocated for only diasporans to be separated away off in the cut and so forth. But there are opportunities for you to be around people who you know, who you trust. There are 7 different families that have taken advantage of that 3 acres right in front of Abibi Tumi headquarters. So yeah, there are opportunities to live together as far as that goes. All right, and Kivoy has to run off. Kivoy, any last comments before you jump off? Everybody should have an opportunity for last comments before we jump off. So Kivoy, you first because you gotta go.
Yeah, man, no.
Especially just briefly, if you could even share what GCA is. I mean, the name kind of gives it, but just so people know.
All right, so Ghana Caribbean Association is a community for Caribbean people living in Ghana. We help to assimilate, we help to integrate, and we help to push everyone that comes as a Caribbean person here. So we provide insurance, we host events so that we can all have social interactions, so we can preserve our culture as well. So the Ghana Caribbean Association is here for you people. So whatever you guys need. I'm Kevoy, I'm Jamaican, and I've been here for 6 years, and I'm the president of the Ghana Caribbean Association. And what my brief last words is, we don't have issues with any criteria because we understand that the government has to vet, but we just want it to be fair for all our people that are involved. So, everyone, we're doing our best, and we're trying to make everyone have a level playing field that everyone can, not everyone, obviously, but the ones who want to come here, who want to build, we want to make sure that the pathway is clear. So thank you guys, and bless up.
Thank you.
All right, bless up. And thank you, Kivoy, representing Ghana Caribbean Association. He's been with us all through this process, hashing out these requirements and so forth. And what I can say about those who are on the line right now, they've all given up their time, their energy, their resources, their material, their money, their spirit. I know for the town hall, Kivoy put up some for the refreshments. I used my hotspot for 4.5 hours so that people could join online. So all of us have been doing all types of things in terms of, just letting people know what's going on. And, we have a level of mutual respect for each other. So, these are people who are working together. This isn't a competition between one and the other. And one of the most beautiful things, especially at the tree class, is that, everybody was there. Everybody wants to be accepted and respected and integrated into society. And you could see people from Ghana, Caribbean, Rastafari Council, Jamaican Affairs, AAA and more all there. And it's really positive to see all of us working together for the first time in a long time. So, I'm glad, especially Ghana, Caribbean and AAA. We had a discussion at actually a funeral where one said, "Oh, well, how come we don't work together?" I said, "No, I know both of y'all. Y'all are on the up and up. Y'all are trustworthy people. Y'all are good people. I'm going to make sure y'all come together." And this is the actual coming together of that. And it's beautiful for me to see.
And others.
Yeah, and others who are not here as well who couldn't make this meeting, but those names are going to be listed. So is there a schedule for the class? The 21st is the next tree class, and there is a virtual option for that. And again, when you text that number, all of those details can be shared with you.
There will be another meeting like this tomorrow.
And there will be another meeting like this tomorrow, especially for AAAG members who weren't able to make it. Go ahead, Nataki, you have something?
Yeah, no, it's okay. But I cannot emphasize enough. I haven't checked the text messages, but seem to be really wanting more follow-up information. But since they did not, since you did not register for this meeting, once you hang up this call, we do not have a way to contact you. So you can do your own due diligence and just Google the organization that you're hearing about. If you did not text your information. So do keep them in mind or write them down as you're hearing the resources can only be provided.
Nataki, you faded out. Your audio is fading out. But what I just pasted in the chat is the link for the tree class with in-person and virtual options. In-person is at the Institute of African Studies where I work, and virtual is going to be via Zoom, just like how we're on right now. So that's the link through IA Tickets. And this is a special thing that we're doing for all of the various organizations that you see listed there on that flyer. So I think on that note, Ras Aswad, if you have any last comments, Nana Kosia, Brother Yazid, Nataki, Dr. Maulana, I believe it's still on.
I just want to say that before I leave, this is Nana Kosia, president of AAAG. And also Queen Mother from Ejisu Abanasi. That's important to me too. Stay plugged in because there's going to be some announcements coming through the pipeline that's going to outline how all of our organizations are going to be working together. So it's going to be important for you to be connected. We don't care which organization you join. We just want you to be able to benefit from the pipeline of information, because sometimes we're doing analysis and we're disaggregating the data just to make it make sense for you. Even with the tree class, there's lots of people that offer tree classes, but there's not a lot of people that can put it the pronunciations in a way that we understand it. So I just want to say that Black Power, more love, and thank you guys for the opportunity. Peace.
Right, peace. Ras Aswad?
Yes, greetings everyone. Give thanks. I just want to congratulate ourselves, and as we say that we have done it in terms of being able to put the unity in action. And that's what we're talking about when we say stand in unity and act in unity. It is very, very inspiring to see what is happening tonight, because we are here speaking with people all over the world, trying to facilitate and streamline citizenship issue, and we are not getting paid for it. So that kind of sacrifice is what we are talking about when we say Pan-Africanism in action, right? So more love and more strength, and welcome home every single one who's trying to come home and become a citizen. Give thanks.
Absolutely.
Do you want to say more about your organization?
Okay. Give thanks. Yeah, my name is Rastafari in Krabia. I'm one of the founders of the Rastafari Council of Ghana. The Rastafari Council of Ghana was established to be able to bring about unity between various Rastafari organizations, locally and internationally. We specifically established this organization for repatriation, home and abroad for the Rastafari and Pan-African community. And we are a community that is very versed in terms of multifaceted artistic abilities and various professional endeavors. So give thanks.
All right. Brother Yazid?
Yes, thank you very much. And thank you for including me. Thank you to all of the members of the board. I appreciate the opportunity to also share my experiences and also to be able to assist others. I initially started my business Repatriation Consultation or Consultant in 2020 during the COVID. When COVID began, people shifted online and began looking for ways out of the United States. And I began to uh, share my experiences online and also assist people with trying to get to Ghana. And Dr. Cambone, you spoke to something about online people creating consultancy businesses after being here for 6 months and 1 year. And even I've had some of my own clients, turn around and set up their own consultancy businesses and charge double, triple what I even was offering, and they have less information and a less of a network or experience. So, it's important to know these organizations and individuals here have experience. Myself, I've been living here since 2009, and I can attest that almost everybody on the panel here has faced their own very public challenges. And, it takes a lot of perseverance to stay here and endure even when things are not going well. So, it's good to it's good to have a network with experienced people that can help you let me say, gain sustainable repatriation, because a lot of people may repatriate, but they go and come. And, not that that's a bad thing, but I think many of us want to find a way to be here and be sustainable. My appreciation to Dr. Malana for giving me the opportunity. We are standing on his shoulders, and elders like himself have paved the way for us to be able to, us younger people, to stand up and try to take on a leadership role in the diaspora community. So we are looking forward to, the new blood to also have an impact, a positive impact, and also to inspire others to also follow in our footsteps as well. Again, thank you very much for letting me be a part of the conversation.
Thank you so much. Dr. Maulana.
Yes, Doc, I'm eating my dinner at this late hour, but I am very appreciative, definitely, to you and the committee for having me on the program and acknowledging the good works that we have contributed. And I said, we must continue because our time has come. This movement is a spiritual movement, and nobody can stop us from repatriating. So I would just say, just keep it up. Those of you who need any help from me, Ministry of the Future, Doc can tell you how to reach me. The whole process of citizenship, it happened to begin with the efforts not only of myself, but there were many before me: Marcus Messiah Garvey, Stanley Williams, Elijah Muhammad, hey, you name it, Kwame Ture, and of course, Osajefo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. I acknowledge all of the heroes and heroines. You understand what I'm saying? They paved the way. And it just was in 2016, 28th of December, it eclipsed. And I carried the ball in to the goal. And so from there, it has mushroomed worldwide. I mean, I did have an idea that it was going to mushroom, but just think about it. What we did in 2016, we have awakened all 54 African countries, even the African Union headquarters, on what we did, that now they acknowledge us, and they're making a proclamation. I think it's already been made that all 54 should open their doors for the Africans of the diaspora to come home. So we in Ghana, we started this first. Then the year of return, the basis of that comes out for what we did in 2016. So the 524, even though it was hijacked from us, we know the genesis of where it started. And Dr. Kambon, my brother, you keeping everybody on course. And this is very important. When we're on this ship, we need a capitan to hold the steering, to make sure that we're on course, because we're not finished yet. There's rougher road to come. And if you look at the biblical, I'm not saying anything about religion, but I think it had some relevance to say that when Moses led the children out of Egypt, they were rebellious as hell. And we are like almost, you know what I mean, imitating that behavior. So it's going to take at least about, I said this about 10 years ago, it's going to take at least about a generation for us to make a serious impact on our repatriation. So look to about 25 to 30 years that they're going to know truly who the children are and what the ancestors have projected and prophesied that we will come home. Dr. Campbell, your family, all of you there, Brother Yazid, I extend my greetings to you, born again Africa. Sister Kosowa, I extend my greetings to you. I know you say I'm difficult to work with. Well, you have to be difficult to work with in the troubling times that we're living in. You know what I mean? Brother Ras Aswad, keep it up, my brother. Rastafari, keep it up. So, Doc, once again, thank you very much. And everybody who needs additional information, direct them toward Ministry of the Future. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Nataki?
Yes. Hi, Nataki Thompson. I'd like to introduce one.
Nataki, your audio is low.
Okay.
Earlier and choppy. Earlier was very good.
Can you hear
I
me
don't know
now?
if anything else is.
Can you hear me better now?
That's much better.
Okay. It is Ghana and it is hot. I had a loud fan on. I turned it off. Okay. So before I introduce an organization that I am a part of, I did want to introduce another organization that they did not have a representative on the call, and that is the Marcus Messiah Garvey Foundation. That was headed by Sister Naomi Buchanan and Brother Neville Buchanan. Unfortunately, on December 23rd, Sister Naomi made her transition and is now an ancestor. And I believe 2 weeks from now, they have a new cohort of young people they're training, and they're graduating youth that they have trained in to be electricians. But Sister Naomi was kind of the epitome of what it should look like when we come to Ghana. She was involved with every organization. She just did so much. Hopefully you all will even be able to see her funeral was live streamed, and to see the kinds of impact that she had on individuals, both Ghanaian and diasporan. I do want to acknowledge that the Marcus Messiah Garvey Foundation is part of the organizations that are here. Brother Neville is taking up the cause to keep things going. And if you're interested in that organization, those of you who did text will get that information on how to connect with them. And they do, I'll just mention that they do a beautiful gala every year. On Marcus Garvey's birthday, or somewhere around his birthday, on the Saturday, I think closest to his birthday, they do a beautiful gala. And oddly enough, Obimfo has done the libations for that every year, because he and his wife Kala got married intentionally on the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey's birthday. So those of you who do make it to Ghana, that will be a beautiful event. And if you're able to get involved with the organization, you could be part of making it a beautiful event and keeping not only the memory of Nana Marcus Messiah Garvey alive, but also keeping the memory and work of now ancestor Naomi Buchanan, also known as Mama Wudasi, alive. Yes, that was not my time. But also before, I don't know if you want to talk about Habasha, Nana Kwame. I saw you put them in the chat as well. But Habasha is also part of this, and we do want to acknowledge the work they're doing. Brother Kashawn Myers is actually in Atlanta right now, but they built an entire sustainable community and do all kinds of agricultural and eco trainings on the land. So it's a beautiful resort. They're doing trainings. It's named after an elder who just knew everything about plants and botany and sustainability. So it's named the Kwaku Ando Sustainability Institute. And this is all part of Habesha, which is helping Africans. I always forget the acronym. Helping Africans.
By establishing schools at home and abroad.
Okay, there we go. So want to acknowledge that. As for me, I am Nataki Kanban. I am the co-founder of the DOOR initiative, which is the Decade of Our Repatriation. The name was Nana Kwame, as he said, he has so many titles. Obimfo Obadale or Nana Kwame came up with the name. And that initiative is to be a decade-long initiative that is an umbrella activity where all different kinds of groups, individuals, and people who want to make Ghana better for all of us can come under this umbrella. There are two components of it. We have MOUs with groups like Habesha, Brother Kashan's group that we talked about, and multi-million-dollar projects and things like that. The side of DOOR that I'm handling is what happens when you're in Ghana, the legal services, the employment, if you want to be an employer or if you want to be an employee, how do you navigate day-to-day things, language and all of these kinds of things. So with the DOOR membership, it is a pathway to connecting with vetted resources for a number of things. Again, we don't want to go negative, doom and gloom, but we all or we hope that we all recognize that there are a lot of people who come to Ghana and they lose their entire fortune. They lose their life savings. There are scams, there are land scams, there are all different kinds of things that people fall victim to and then end up having to leave Ghana. And the goal of the decade is to make sure when you come, you're able to connect with the people and the resources that you need, that you can stay, enjoy it for yourself, but also have a broader impact. And as I said, there is a Decade of Our Repatriation membership that is supposed to officially launch on March 6th. And that gives you access to some of the things that I mentioned in terms of the legal resources and access to just all the kinds of things that you need to make a life here on a day-to-day basis. So that's me. And the last thing I'll say about myself is to help curb some of what's happening with the land scams and the housing scams and some of the problems there. Starting January 1st, there is an agency that is authorized by the Office of the President. He put the CEO in this office to enforce the Real Estate Agency Act. And within that, I and Obimfo became the first historic diaspora and real estate brokers in Ghana. And that's going to be significant because as of now, you have to have a real estate broker license in order to sell property of any kind. You have to broker. Some people are still not yet, but the enforcement is coming. And this is going to be one of the most important things you can do, whether you're planning to rent, lease, buy, or sell. So that is one of the arms and umbrellas of DOOR that is important because we recognize when people come here to buy one, you need a place to live. Two, you need a way to either protect the money that's coming in or create more money. To plug into community, both diasporan and local communities. And so the Decade of Our Repatriation has joined with all of these others to make sure that that is possible for you. So if I guess you'll hear more about all this. I'm the one who put the numbers in the chat. So for those of you who did text your name, phone number, email address, and which one of those 4 points you're interested in, you'll be hearing more in the future. And I do just encourage everyone on the call to share, if you did text, when you get the information about the next meeting and the critical updates that will really share it with others. There are a lot of people who are looking at what is next for me outside of, some of these countries that are not serving our people well. Thank you.
Madasi. So I'll go ahead and close out with, a thanks to all of those who have been, especially the member organizations, but all of those also individuals who have come on. Thanks to AAAG, of course, DOR, Rastafari Council of Ghana, Ghana Caribbean Association. One Africa wasn't able to be on, but thanks to them as well. Jamaican Affairs, represented by Ross Oswald. And Bibi Tumi, RepatriateToGhana, that's all in-house. Ministry of the Future, Real Repatriation Consultant, Marcus Mosiah Garvey Foundation, and Habasha. It was a bit surreal at the town hall because that was at the Institute of African Studies, and that's actually where the Citizenship Initiative has its stand.
So I'm not hearing any sound. Okay.
I'll go. Can people hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I can.
All right. That 10 years ago, so this has been a decade, 10 years ago, the Citizenship Initiative was born, at least as it is now in terms of a executive order, presidential mandate. It was born at the Institute of African Studies, where Honorable Nikwesi Kwate, who was first Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs and then became the Executive Secretary to the President, he came to one of our Ministry of the Future meetings where he was told, we contribute a lot to Ghana, but we don't have much to show for it. We would want citizenship. He took that message back to President Mahama, and from that is where the Citizenship Initiative has opened up that we're now talking about here. So again, thanks to Dr. Maulana for, his role, because that was his contact. And then again, African Studies, there is a bit of, let me say, gravitas that coming to the university, a respected institution, has. So for me, it's been my honor to basically use my position as now an associate professor there to open up the doors where respected members of government can come and we can now influence policy. And that policy influence has now shaped the lives of hundreds and hundreds of people. So, that's one. As far as RepatriateToGhana, as far as DOR, Nataki has mentioned, DOR, she also she brought forth the idea of RepatriateToGhana as a business. Before, I was running myself ragged, helping people get their land, helping people get out of jams, helping people get their lodging, helping people get unarrested and all type of stuff. And she was like, you need to formalize that as a business. And that's what we did. So she basically structured the idea of RepatriateToGhana. Now there are a lot of people, like I said, where I was like, these people, they have no idea what a repatriation service is about, because it's not all the glitz and glamour. And I'm sure Brother Yazid can speak to this as well. I'm like, these people are not going to be tracking through the bush. Like, I look at the stuff that we do. But, there are a lot of things, there are other components. And the government of Ghana has lamented that people sometimes just come for citizenship and they leave, because RepatriateToGhana is a full 360-degree repatriation service. It's not just about citizenship. That what we do is we help people repatriate successfully, and we don't have people who come and they're failing and then they have to go back, because we say by hook or by crook, if you got to stay in my house, you are going to have a successful repatriation. And that's the thing that's missing when they just think it's a one-off a la carte citizenship deal. And then you leave people to their own devices in terms of, well, what about lodging? What about learning the language? What about community? What about networks? What about starting a business? All of these, what about university admissions? All of these various things. So again, you can reach out. Nataki has put her numbers in the chat several times. So everyone, please take advantage of that. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. GMT, we're going to have another meeting. That one is going to be at a different link where you're going to register. We can capture your information more easily, disseminate information. There will be other announcements coming forth in terms of representative leadership from all of the organizations that you've seen online coming together. So again, thank you for your time. Thank you for honoring me and all of the organizations who called this meeting at literally the last minute, I think 2 hours. And it's amazing that over 100 people showed up with just 2 hours notice, but it shows that this is something that we're all passionate about. none of us are getting paid for this, that we're all just passionate about this citizenship and making sure that it's fair and that the door stays open. And again, that is a pun. I'm a linguist, so I'm allowed to say as many puns as I like. But the door, DOOR, stays open for all of you. That's a decade of our repatriation. And again, Abibi Tumi, Abibi Fahodie. And we look forward to all of you having a successful repatriation because it's bigger than all of us. And you can have a repatriation consultation as soon as tomorrow. Just send an email to RepatriateToGhana.com, or you can sign up at r2gh.com, and I'll put that in the chat. And on that note, I will go ahead and close out. And again, I appreciate all of your time, energy, effort, resources, material, spirit. That's your terms, because we're going to get our liberation on our own terms. Abibi Tumi, Abibi Fahodie.
Okay, I'm putting the numbers in the chat one more time, just in case. I know some people just joined, just so they can make sure that they get plugged into everything that's coming forward and they don't miss anything. So hopefully everyone has either screenshot or taken the numbers down and texted. Again, please do not call those numbers. For now, we're just taking text messages so that they can be compiled and you can just get access to all of the people, organizations, resources, and information that was shared today. And again, thank you so much, Obenfo and Ross Oswald and Nana Foswa, everybody on the call.
All right, Madam Wasi.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close out.